Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. Hope you enjoyed last week's Feraligatr profile. I really like that one, and I'm holding out hope that there is a Feraligatr EX or a Mega or something coming down the line soon. And this week I've got another fun one. When I get online to play on TCG Live, I usually play a mix of decks, often to satisfy the daily task, but I do have my favorites. And I've been playing this one off and on for several weeks. And the one thing I noticed after a while is that I rarely lose with this one. As I accrued wins and concedes and the occasional I'm going to do nothing and let my turn run out because I'm a little punk type matches. And yes, I do screenshot every one of those. But anyway, it finally occurred to me that this should be my next feature. It was also on my mind because of the use of Luminous Energy in the Feraligatr deck, and we'll get to that shortly in this deck. I don't know exactly what to call this. I was going to call it an Okidogi deck, but the more I think about it, I think it's a Claydol deck. Let's look at Claydol first. Claydol is still hanging around from Silver Tempest, which would typically rotate after Worlds, which is in August. But because of their 2020 debacle, Pokemon Seattle has been all over the place with rotations, so I don't know how much longer we'll have access to this guy. If it were up to me, I'd just rotate at the end of the year and just keep it that way, as that would split the season each year and not change the format right before the biggest events, as they've done very stupidly several times. But balanced decisions don't seem to be in their wheelhouse, which is why I make it a point to differentiate between the Seattle group and the parent company in Japan. Claydol is a Stage 1, 110 HP guy, weak to Grass, with a double retreat cost, and he sports the ability Mystery Charge. Mystery Charge only works if you have no supporters in your discard pile, but it allows you to attach fighting energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. It's no limits on what type or where, which is awesome, but the no supporter thing does present a challenge. I built something with Claydol back when it came out. I could not find the list. I think it was a single strike Urshifu VMAX deck, but I'd basically forgotten about this guy and had not gone back to him until very recently. With this Claydol and the availability of Luminous Energy, I've made this into a box type deck, but generally your main attacker is Okidogi from Twilight Masquerade. Okidogi is a basic 130 HP fighting type. He's weak to Psychic with a 2 energy retreat cost. And like Munkidori from the last video, Oki has a similarly poorly named ability called Adrena Power, which says that if you have a dark energy attached to him, he gets 100 extra HP and his attacks do 100 more damage. That takes his less than mediocre attack Good Punch, another great name by the way, Pokemon Seattle. And guys in Seattle, I'm available if you need a translator. It really seems like you guys have given up. As long as I can telecommute from Virginia, because I'm not going anywhere near that place. But, where was I? Oh yeah. It takes Good Punch to 170 damage, which is solid for a single prize attacker. And more importantly, that boost takes him to 230 HP, and that lifts him higher than many of the EXs that are currently in the format. I didn't do it in this list, but you could add a few Bravery Charms and push him to 280 HP, which is crazy if you think about it. His fighting typing is good, because you can one-hit the lightning types, like Iron Hands. You can really abuse the Arceus decks, and the Psychic weakness isn't that big of a handicap, because everything in Gardevoir is pretty much going to one-hit you anyway. And like I said, while Okidogi is kind of your main attacker, he is not alone. I'm just going to have to pull up the list to discuss everything else. To go along with the 4 copies of Okidogi, I added a couple of walls. The first of which is Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. Say that 4 times real fast. Anyway, he's a fighting type, which makes him an easy fit. He has a lone attack called Demolish that hits for 140 damage, which by itself is not overwhelming, but it does hit through everything. He's not really here for his attack, he is here for his ability Cornerstone Stance, which prevents all damage from attacks done by Pokemon that have an ability. Without going through everything, that's most of everything that's good. He's a nice fit in here because he is one of the few Pokemon in this deck that has a 1 energy retreat cost. So you can put Rescue Board on him and send him up at the beginnings of turns when you need to decide what to do or you don't know what you're going to draw yet. And with a pair of Claydol down, you can drop him and power him up in one turn, which can drastically swing a game. The other wall in this deck is Mimikyu. I know he's been around for a while. His ability Safeguard stops damage from the attacks from an EX or a V. So if it becomes clear that your opponent does not have an option to deal with Mimikyu, then you just attach a Luminous Energy. You can get your other energy on with Claydol, or just attach for your turn and play the game with Mimikyu until they concede. And then the last Pokemon in this strange little box of Pokemans is Stunfisk, who is also hanging around from all those Silver Tempest cards. He sports the attack Mystery Bolt, and you can only use this if you have no supporters in your discard pile. It basically lets you shoot 100 damage anywhere. I don't use him very much, but he can finish something they retreat, which is pretty handy since you don't have any bosses or orders in here. As far as the rest goes, I've thrown everything in here that I could think of to make up for the no supporters condition from Claydol. I've maxed out Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, Poffin, and even the Artisan Stadium, so if you can't get a basic Pokemon out with this thing, then I don't know, try knitting or something. But that said, one thing I've learned playing this a lot lately is that if you don't get out B-Barrel, this deck can just stall out on you and do nothing. I did include a third B-Barrel on purpose. That's not a mistake looking at that list. That's just to increase the chances of drawing it. But be careful how you use Ultra Ball. You really need to save those just to get that B-Barrel out. From there, it just opens up the gates. Along those lines, I've got Secret Box in here for my A-Spec. But I've been very interested to try Hyper Aroma just to get those 3 stage 1s out in one shot. And I think I'm probably going to change that in this list. I know that one supporter is just staring you in the face, but remember Claydol and Stunfisk just require there to be none in the discard pile. With Grant, you can use him to boost your attack and then get him right back into your hand. And also don't forget, he's a handy tool to thin your hand out of stuff that you don't need anymore. The last card to mention is the Technical Machine Crisis Punch. This is a total theory card for me, as I've had it in here for a good 20 plus games, and I've never used it. But the 280 damage is great in theory, and I'm stubborn, so as far as I'm concerned, it stays in here. You could probably change that for something if you want to. It's not as complicated as it looks. All these items make it look kind of crazy when you look at the list. I wish there was a better catcher type card. Maybe the coin flip catcher is worth a try, but this is how it stands for now. Let's watch this thing do its thing. This first match is going to be against Goldingo EX. Can be a bit of a problem because Goldingo can do not unlimited damage, but can do a lot of damage in one shot, so the 230 HP from Okidogi is not going to be that important. You can see him getting set up, played a Poffin, use an Artisan, get down plenty of basics. Want to get 2 B-Barrels if I can so I can draw as much as I want to. 2 Claydols is always nice as well. Definitely don't want to toss those Luminous Energies. Get that automatically boosts him to 230, so it should make the Okidogi safe for this turn. As you can see, they're setting up probably that second turn Greninja. If we can attack that, that'd be great. If not, we'll be okay. It's not going to be able to target too many things that are very important here. Go ahead and get a B-Barrel down, so that'll protect that one B-Doof. Let's see what we draw on that. Get energy with the Vessel. Go ahead and toss an Ultra Ball to get those 2. Then we're going to use this Ultra Ball to toss these 2 energies, get them in the discard pile for Claydol. And with the Ultra Ball, we'll get a Claydol. Then we'll be able to go ahead and attach to the active Okidogi. Also got that Escape Board in my hand. I'll go ahead and get that on him as well so I can retreat him. He does have a 2 energy retreat cost, but that'll cut it to 1. And we'll Good Punch for 170. On their turn, they did as I expected they would do. They got to Palkia V-Star, set up that Greninja, caught my my Bidoof, brought it active. So they knock out that into Claydol, which is a pretty good move on their part. I get another Ball Toy. Go ahead and draw with our B-Barrel. Get a little bit of everything in this hand, which is nice. Go ahead and get this Ogerpon down because I'll be able to take out this Greninja this turn. And that's going to leave them with a lot of attackers that have abilities, so Ogerpon's going to be pretty important from here on out. Going to use Claydol to go ahead and start charging this Stun Fisk. Be nice if I had 10 more damage on that Palkia, because then I could shoot it, but can't quite get him. So we'll go ahead and just take out the Greninja. Out of the prizes there. Get another Claydol. They're going to come back with their Goldingo. They had one of those hands. They don't have any other ones in place, so they're not really drawing that much. They only had one energy to attack with, so we just take 50 damage. So that was a pretty good turn for me. Let me go ahead and get my second Claydol evolved. Go and get energy on the Ogerpon. With the B-Barrel, get another board. We'll go ahead and put that on that Ogerpon so we can send it up to block with and retreat if we're not exactly sure what we're going to do. Well, good punch for 170 on Goldingo. They got a much better turn, got a couple Goldingos in play, we're able to draw some. And they're going to be able to, what I was afraid they would do last turn, go ahead and take out this Okidogi. But from here, they've got nothing but ability Pokemon in play, so we're going to go ahead and switch to this, to the Ogerpon. Going to get Artisan in play. We'll go ahead and use it to also get the other Mimikyu, just to kind of show that I can wall them in multiple ways here. It's not going to give them very many options for to go forward from here. Go ahead and hit them with a Demolish for 140. Finish off that Goldingo. They come back. Don't really have any way to catch anything. They go ahead and just attack. I guess showed that they're kind of stuck. I'm going to cut down my last turn as well. At this point, I'm sure they don't have the means to catch something 3 times to get their last 3 prizes. I think they've seen they have no way to get around these walls and they concede. And that's why I hesitate to call this an Okidogi deck. Sometimes you just have to go a different route. Unlike this next match against what I like to call just ancient babies. This is just a slugfest where you have to take 6 prizes the old-fashioned way. And this video portion is going to be more of a highlight reel because they had some long turns, and so did I, in the course of a very long match. See, they took the opening knockout, I returned it. They came back and were only able to hit 160. They do have the booster capsule on their Roaring Moon, so I have to use Grant. That does boost me to 200. Allows me to knock that out and stay ahead. Actually get back ahead on prizes at this point. Again, they had a little bit of trouble recovering from that one. They used a counter catcher to pull up my B-Barrel. They only needed one more Pokemon down to one-hit it, but they could not. I got energy on him with Claydol, and I attached from my hand to retreat him. Came up with the Stun Fisk. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this Flutter Mane just because it's the only thing I can take out with Stun Fisk. And lets me get ahead one more prize on them. In this exchange back and forth kind of game, that's pretty important. You can see they keep building. Now they're to 220. Easily take out my Stun Fisk. They have the capsule on their Roaring Moon again. So again, I'm going to get down another Okidogi. Going to use Claydol to attach to him. Then we've got Grant again. It's a never-ending supply of Grant to get me to 200 and be able to knock him out with that capsule on again. Gets me down to 2 prizes where I have a much more comfortable lead. Get that Luminous Energy, which is very important there. They've built it to now where they can pretty much one-shot everything I have, but that's why having the lead is important at this point. I can get two Luminous Energies now. They don't have a capsule on this one, so I don't have to worry about trying to get that Grant back. I am going to do it, though, just to thin my hand. Also need it so that I can use Claydol to attach to the next Okidogi. Go ahead and attack there. It gets me down to only 1 prize card left. Now on their last turn, they are unable to return a knockout, so they just concede. I know this is an odd little deck, but besides it being something fun to mess around with, it does provide a valuable service, if you will. For a competitive player, decks like this make you break away from the format mindset. You have to make some unconventional plays with unconventional Pokemon. I don't think this is a deck to even consider against top tier stuff, but it is a good mental workout deck. It's kind of like a track day when you're preparing for a half marathon, which is something I'm sure so many in the Pokemon crowd will understand. But to put it more simply, it makes you think outside of the box. and that makes you a stronger player and a competitor. And it is fun to play, which is what this is all about as far as I'm concerned. That's it for today. Keep sharing these videos with your friends, and as always, feel free to ask questions in the comments. And until next time, be not afraid. Later.